You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, a local church organization says they've heard the cries of those Texans, and now they say they're on their way down there, and they're looking for ways for you to help as well.
Also, possible changes coming for Pittsburgh's Silverback Landing housing development.
And we got a few clouds out there this morning, also some patchy fog, and then we could have some patchy pop-up storms later. Look at your forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Wednesday, July the 9th. It's just after
is.
7 a.m. on this Monday. Forget it. Wednesday morning, and of course, we've had our own share of issues here in the 4 states with strong and severe thunderstorms and flooding. But as you know, down in Texas, they've been dealing with a much more significant situation.
Certainly. Now, local churches looking to help. They're in Knoll, Missouri, and they're stepping up after witnessing the devastation left behind by deadly flash flooding in Texas.
As KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, they're not just sending help; they're delivering it themselves straight to the Lone Star State.
We had a disaster. Last year, a tornado hit North Arkansas.
Tammy Shoemate is a member of Elks Ridge Baptist Church. She says her church once faced a natural disaster. One way it was able to recover was from locals lending a hand.
We had people from all the surrounding states come and help support us in our time of need. So we are giving back.
Now, Shoemate, along with her church members, say although they don't have any personal family or friends in the Lone Star State, they say it's more blessed to give than to receive.
I mean, we're all God's children, so our mission is to help those in need as a community, and not only in our community, but everything around is God's community.
Consider them our family, even though we're not there with them.
They also say those on the front lines need help also. That's why they're taking all kinds of donations, monetary or not.
Food, hygiene needs, deodorant, toothbrushes, toothpaste, whatever we can to help ease these people in their time of need.
Shoemate says that's what this congregation is all about.
Pantry efforts, we help our immediate community, but we also have a love and a passion to help others.
Members of the congregation says they're going to do whatever they can to touch these people, even if it's just sending up a prayer. Reporting in Knoll, Missouri, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
If you would like to help out, we do have a link to the Elks First Baptist Church on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com.
Of course, those folks down there need all the help they can get. And as they mentioned, the 4 states here, we're no stranger to devastating storms, and we're also no stranger to the love and support of those around us. So it's always nice when we can give back as well. And today, we've got heat, humidity, and pop-up storm chances, but it looks great right now downtown Pittsburgh. Just a few clouds, and we're going to expect partly cloudy skies for the majority of today. On to the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line in Joplin, looking good as well. Here's the fog tracker, though. It doesn't look so friendly. Bentonville, Cassville, visibilities have dropped again, back below a mile. So I-44, US 60, east towards Springfield, 49 south into northwest Arkansas. You need to be prepared to slow down, potentially stop, depending on how thick traffic gets, and watch out for rapidly changing visibility conditions as well. So this is parts of Jasper, Lawrence, Berry, Newton, McDonald, Benton, and southeastern Delaware counties where we do have this dense fog out there. So just slow down. Low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you've got them. We also do have some reduced visibilities around Parsons, Nevada, and Stockton this morning as well. So just use caution out there this morning. On to this, we've got the possibility of some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms this afternoon. Like yesterday, we had that one pop-up storm in our eastern counties here. It went severe. That can happen. It doesn't always happen with pop-up storms, but occasionally they can intensify. So we have that chance for maybe some hail and damaging wind gusts, and mainly in the southeast Kansas. Future Track trying to again pick up on pop-up storm chances. It doesn't always do a great job, but it does show that possibility. Now, it does have them out of here early, but I do believe the window for these pop-up storms is truly going to be about noon to 5, and then we'll start to clear out after that with clear skies overnight tonight. Temperatures 70 in Joplin, 68 in Pittsburgh and across the area. We've got some upper 60s. We're starting to see some more low 70s out there as well. And we're on our way to a warm day. Upper 70s by 9, mid 80s by noon, upper 80s to about 90 for our high. Those pop-up storms, clear skies this evening. Winds outside of any thunderstorms expected to be calm. Could see an isolated storm or two tomorrow. Better chances though Friday into the weekend. I'll go over those details here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, an early morning crash in Jasper County takes the life of a Carthage teen. Authorities responded to the crash at about 5 yesterday morning at Prigmore and Cedar near Dunaweg. Now, troopers say the crash happened after a pickup failed to stop at a stop sign and traveled off the right side of the road. The driver then overcorrected, traveled off the left side of the road where the pickup overturned and struck a tree. The driver, 18-year-old Aiden Lambeth, died at the scene. In response to the crash, Carthage schools have activated their crisis response plan to offer support. On Thursday from noon until 2, crisis team support will be available in the Carthage High School Media Center. They say counselors will also be available in the days ahead for anyone who may need someone to talk to. Well, Pittsburgh City Commissioners approve a lease agreement with a Joplin-based company that specializes in making batteries for defense and aerospace systems. Eagle Pitcher plans to build a manufacturing facility near the Pitt State campus. It's the first of 3 projects planned off South Rouse Avenue near the Tyler Research Center. The Eagle Pitcher facility is expected to create 40 to 50 jobs. Company officials say other national defense projects pushed back their initial lease start date. Groundbreaking for the new facility is now planned for July 24th. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, the Pittsburgh City Commission voted on a resolution that could lead to changes to an ongoing housing development project. KOAM Samantha Walker has more on why progress at the Silverback Landing has been delayed and how city staff hope these changes could mean more improvement.
The Silverback Landing development started in 2018, creating middle to higher income housing in Pittsburgh. It's a reinvestment housing incentive district, also known as a RID. It's a state program which helps developers build infrastructure by reimbursing costs through property taxes.
I would say we have a need for all levels of housing. Our goal is to be able to provide that and get more houses on the market for people to buy.
Proposed changes to the development would include an extension to the RID by 10 years and the possible acquisition of the development to new owners. When Silverback Landing was first started in 2018, RIDs were called Rural Housing Incentive Districts and had a timeline of 15 years, but a state law change upped it to 25. This change would put Silverback Landing on track with other city incentive districts.
The Rural Housing Incentive District, or the RID district agreement, was between the city, the county, the school district, and the developer. Well, if there's a change to that, we need to bring that back through commission. But nothing else is changing. That phase 1 is remaining the same. We're just asking for another 10 years on the RID.
Silverback Landing is supposed to be a 3-phase project, but according to the city, progress was impacted by the pandemic and supply chain issues. Currently, only 22 out of the 60 planned homes for development have been built. RID funds go to the city before they're dispersed to developers of the project. So far, no RID funds have been sent out to the developers because not enough phase 1 work has been completed.
As you can see behind me, there are homes that haven't been completed yet and roads need finished as well. The city hopes that by changing the ownership and development company, they may see more movement in the future.
Our goal is to build houses in Pittsburgh and to see this development come to fruition for the people that have purchased homes out there or the people that live in surrounding neighborhoods to get what they were promised. And so we're really hoping that this acquisition would do that.
She says a local nonprofit is working to acquire the property under the name Silverback Landing, LLC. The plan would be to use local companies to help further the development.
We would see a strong shift forward, get more builders out there, get more houses up, and more houses on the market for people to buy.
The Silverback Landing development isn't a new project for the city. Staff say it would be moving forward a project which already exists. The city also wouldn't be investing funds into it.
There is private funding coming into that, but this is not requiring or asking for any city funds.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
The City Commission passed the resolution last night, and a public hearing is planned for August 12th. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, rangers from the George Washington Carver National Monument invite you to celebrate the 82nd annual Carver Day celebration. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Vernon County Fairgrounds in Nevada, Missouri. The impact of George Washington Carver can be felt through the nation. And of course, his journey began right here in our area. Now, to help celebrate his achievements, we have Curtis Gregory from the George Washington Carver National Monument here with us this morning to invite everyone to the 82nd annual Carver Day celebration. Welcome, Curtis. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Happy to have you. Carver Day here happening this weekend. Talk to me about the celebration.
Sure. Thank you for having us. Carver Day is Saturday from 10 to 3. And it celebrates the establishment of the park 82 years ago. So we'll have a guest speaker, music groups, kids activities, exhibitors. So it's going to be a really wonderful day.
Absolutely. Talk to me about what you hope folks, when they come out, what they want to take away from this and what you're hoping that they can be educated on.
So, we celebrate George Washington Carver's life every day, but this is a special day for us, Saturday. And we hope that visitors will take away to learn something new about George Washington Carver. A lot of visitors that come to the park, they know about George Washington Carver and the peanut, but he did so much more. So we want, hopefully, visitors to take away learn something new about Carver, and just to embrace our wonderful national park.
Certainly. So this 82 years, talk to me just about how it feels to reach such a milestone.
Yeah, 82 years. George Washington Carver died in January of 1943. 6 months later, the national park was established. So we're celebrating 82 years, and it's a wonderful park that we have in our backyard that honors George Washington Carver.
Certainly. So now, throughout the years, do you have a favorite memory of Carver Day, and what are you looking forward to this year?
We have a wonderful guest speaker that's going to be talking about Tuskegee Airmen from Lincoln University in Jefferson City. So I'm really looking forward to her, some of our music that we're having, and hopefully we'll have a lot of kids so they can come out and earn a nice little Junior Ranger badge, and just a fun day.
Yeah, who doesn't want one of those?
Right.
So of course this is Saturday. Talk to me a little bit about the details and when folks can come out.
Okay, Saturday from 10 to 3, free of charge. And there will be activities going on throughout the day. And the park is open from 9 to 5. So we'll have activities throughout the day, but the special events from 10 to 3.
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, lots to look forward to this weekend. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Happy to have you. Of course. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 7:17 coming up on 7:18 on this Wednesday morning. Again, starting with the fog tracker. Excuse me, got some reduced visibilities in Nevada, Stockton, Parsons, but our densest fog still across parts of eastern Jasper, Newton, McDonald, Berry, Lawrence, Benton, and southeastern Delaware counties, where both Bentonville, Cassville below 1 mile visibility. So I-44, US 60 heading east towards Springfield, I-49 down south into Arkansas. If your commute today is going to take you anywhere through there, you need to plan to maybe leave a little early. You also need to be prepared to slow down, and you've got to watch out for rapidly changing visibility conditions as well. And as always, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them, so do watch out. Now, on to this afternoon, we do have the chance for some pop-up storms. Some of those, like what we saw yesterday, occasionally pop-up storms can intensify enough to reach a strong to low-grade severe status. That's what we saw yesterday. It's a possibility again today with an isolated hail risk and an isolated damaging wind risk, primarily this time into southeastern Kansas. Future track showing us those pop-up storm possibilities, but I'm going to tell you now, I think it's ending them a little too early. I think we're going to see maybe a few of them sticking around through at least 5, so from noon to 5. After that, though, we should clear out. Got a great evening ahead of us and a great overnight as well. By Thursday, we start clear. Then we'll start to see partly cloudy skies. There is a low chance of an isolated storm, but to be honest with you, I think Future Track's probably got this almost spot on. It's not really showing much of anything for Thursday. We have some areas highlighted, which I'll show you in a moment, but again, the chance tomorrow is just very low. It's not looking as good as today, which even today is pretty low, and it's certainly not looking as good as Friday, which we'll talk about here right now. So, as we head into the afternoon, initially on Friday, we are looking at just pop-up storms. Then as we head later into the evening and overnight hours, we could see some scattered thunderstorms. So not like a line of storms or anything, but slightly more organized, slightly more widespread thunderstorms from late Friday into our Saturday. And that trend continues through the upcoming weekend. So today, there's our level 1 out of 5 risk that we have for tomorrow. First off, the green, remember the light green, the reason it's not on our little key down here is because it's just general thunderstorms. We also have our southwestern counties, no risk areas at all. And that level 1 out of 5 here is just barely clipping us at this point. So that's why I think tomorrow the Future Track's got it almost spot on, not really looking at much for storm chances. But then we get back to Friday, and there's that level 1 out of 5 risk once again out there for some strong, low-grade severe storms. And again, it looks as though some damaging wind gusts, hail are going to be the primary concerns. Mostly clear skies, and again, it'll be a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies through the morning. Mid-70s by 8, low 80s by 11 o'clock this morning. Again, those storm chances between about noon and 5. Otherwise, highs up to about 90. Going to be muggy. Heat index values today near 95, and our winds outside of any storm chances, of course, are expected to be calm. Into the evening, skies clear out, still pretty mild, near 80 by 10 o'clock tonight, back down to low 70s. South winds 5 to 10, and as we head into our Thursday again, it's there. It is a chance, but it is extraordinarily low compared to today and Friday. By Friday, though, and tomorrow, low mid-90s. It's going to feel a little more uncomfortable out there, be a little milder overnight as well. Thunderstorm chances, again, pop-up storms initially, then slightly more organized storms Friday into Saturday, Sunday, lingering into Monday. Storms through the weekend, and the clouds will keep us a little cooler for this upcoming weekend as well. More pop-up storms possible next week, and temperatures hanging out in the upper 80s and low 90s. That's a check of your forecast. We will be back with more right after this.
Well, the members of the Cherokee County Arts Association have been hard at work preparing for their production of 9 to 5, the musical. We have Brandon Clark and Cindy Shannon with us this morning to share their excitement for their play. Good morning to you both. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. So talk to me a little bit about 9 to 5, the musical.
Yeah, absolutely. So 9 to 5 is a show about 3 women who have been working at an office, and each of them have different circumstances in their life, and they decide to kind of take, their jobs into their own hands and kidnap their boss. Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit. You both are actors in the play. What roles are you playing, and how does it feel to be taking on these roles?
So I'm playing Judy Burnley, and she is a recently separated woman in her 30s who has never worked in an office before, and she brings a lot of fears and anxieties into that, and but gets to grow a lot, and there's a lot of character development and things like that in the show, so it's fun.
And I play Violet Newstead, and I'm one of the managers at the office, and I train Judy, and I'm a widow, and I'd really love to be CEO and move up the corporate ladder, but I'm kind of stuck because this is set in 1979, so as we know, there were not as many opportunities for women back then.
Now talk to me a little bit about bringing the 1970s to life on the stage. This is, of course, based on the iconic film from the 80s,
Absolutely.
So talk to me a little bit about that.
It's been fun to kind of try on different costumes and see yourself in a different way than maybe we live normally. I mean, the hair and makeup in itself is just totally different.
The shoes are really uncomfortable.
Oh, really? Are they?
Yeah. Truly. But I think people, if they love the movie, they will love this show. The music is just so fun, and there's lots of energy. It's really exciting.
It is.
Wonderful. Now, of course, opening night, tomorrow night. Talk to me about all the performances and where folks can get tickets.
So there'll be performances Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and those are held at the Galena Performing Arts Center, which is adjacent to the high school. And you can get tickets online at CherokeeCountyArts.org, or you can buy them at the door. So yeah, it's going to be great.
Well, lots to look forward to. Well, thank you so much for being with us this morning. To the both of you, good luck. Break a leg.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29. I'm Elise Snowy. Some drivers in Joplin may want to seek alternative routes starting today. Crews will begin work at 8 a.m. on South St. Louis Avenue from 6 to 7 streets. The area will be closed to traffic as Spire Gas plans to install infrastructure. Now, this daytime closure starts today and will run through Friday, but the area should reopen at 4 each day. Neighborhood traffic will still be accessible to residents. And a Baxter Springs business says it's bouncing back from recent storms. 3.5 months ago, Sleepy Girls furniture was slammed by some nasty spring storms. Flooding ruined a good amount of merchandise, including many mattresses. Now, despite the work ahead, Sleepy Girls' owner says he's ready to reopen to customers and the community.
It feels wonderful. It's been 3.5 weeks or 3.5 months, and it's just good to see people again, and instead of just slaving in here, to actually get to talk to people, and I'm a people person.
Sleepy Girls reopened for business yesterday, and Heslin says the store should return to fully stocked status in about a month. And big changes could soon be on the way for a longtime Pittsburgh radio station. KRPS has served the 4 states as the area's sole national public radio station for nearly 40 years. But a bill before the federal government could soon mean changes, including to programming. Now, if approved, the bill would strip funding for hundreds of public television and radio stations, including KRPS.
Live Southeast Kansas radio outlet with live news, for instance, from Kansas, that's produced in Kansas for Kansans. We have a collaboration now, as far as I know, 8 years with Kansas News Service. They employ 2 reporters at the State House in Topeka to cover the legislative session.
That there's a time we have to pick and choose what we're going to be paying for. And I think that's one of the things that's not necessary. I think that people can get media from so many different ways now. Everybody has a phone with multiple media outlets, and some of the needs that we had for public radio, public TV years ago just isn't there now.
The bill is scheduled to go before the Senate next week, but it has already passed the House. Let's head over now to Chris for another look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got those mostly clear to partly cloudy skies out there this morning. That's how our day will trend. Otherwise, looking pretty good downtown Pittsburgh. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin, somewhat deserted for 7:30 in the morning, but I'm sure folks will be heading out before too much longer. And if you are heading out, you need to be aware of some of that dense fog. We do have some reduced visibility, Stockton, Nevada. Then we have this fairly dense fog. Cassville still below a mile. It's impacting I-44, US 60 heading east towards Springfield, and I-49 heading south down into Arkansas. Parts of Jasper, Berry, Lawrence, McDonald, Newton, Benton, and southeastern Delaware counties. So make sure you're prepared to slow down. Make sure you're prepared to possibly be late if you're not leaving early. And just use your low beams, not your high beams. Be cautious out there. We also have some slightly reduced visibilities around the Parsons area. As we head into this afternoon, pop-up storms are a possibility. We saw this yesterday. We had that one severe thunderstorm, and occasionally pop-up storms can intensify, and we do have that chance for maybe some hail or damaging wind gusts, primarily in the southeast Kansas. Future track showing us, again, this is not a guarantee of where pop-up storms will be, but it is showing us those pop-up storm chances. Clears them out somewhat early. I think these chances will continue through about 5 this evening, and then we'll clear out after that with clear skies later this evening and overnight. 70 in Joplin, 68 in Pittsburgh, and across the area, we still have some upper 60s, starting to see a lot more low 70s across the area. Miami, the warm spot right now at 73. Eventually, upper 70s by 9, mid 80s by noon, upper 80s to about 90 for our highs. Clear skies this evening, and outside of any thunderstorms, of course, winds expected to be calm. Could see a stray storm or two tomorrow, and then we have better storm chances Friday into the weekend. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, with the tragic flooding in Texas, some may wonder if Missouri state parks and campgrounds are ready for flooding or other dangerous weather. Nick Kelly spoke with park officials and campers at Bennett Spring about preparedness, no matter what Mother Nature throws their way.
Our wet spring and active start to the summer hasn't stopped Doug McManus from coming down from Marshall with his wife to spend the month at Bennett Springs State Park.
We're campground host for the month of July. Which means we check and make sure campers are in the right spot and just take care of their needs.
Bennett Springs State Park is no stranger to flooding whenever the Niagara River runs high. Campers Glenda and Roger Smith from Scott City dealt with flooding on an early morning at this site years ago.
We were about the same spot and the water was coming up, and luckily it was the day we were going to leave anyway. So, but we did have to leave and take the back way out.
That knock on their door came from park staff very early that morning. Missouri Department of Natural Resources says all their state parks have flood and severe weather plans in place. For Bennett Springs, staff will inform campers of any flood watches or warnings and ask visitors to secure any belongings. If the spring gauge reaches 4 feet and water reaches the road edge near the Holland Dam, they'll evacuate spring cabins 1 through 12. Campground 1 will evacuate when the Windyville gauge reaches 10 feet.
Not too long ago, in an effort to keep park goers and campers safe, the park put up 2 outdoor warning sirens, one here at Campground 1 and one at the Springhead.
Those sirens can be heard throughout the park. The Department of Park staff also encourages campers to come prepared with a weather radio, sign up for weather alerts, and don't ignore warnings from the staff. They also want campers to do what Doug and the Smiths do every day.
We check the forecast. I have the weather app on my phone, look at it and for this area, and we just try to be aware.
Well, should you awake to or find yourself in a flash flood situation, park officials advise you not to leave the campground, to stay put. No national safety organization will tell you to try to drive through flash flooding or cross swollen creeks. The flooding itself is usually gone as fast as it comes. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A Virginia ballet teacher is leaving her mark in the lives of her students. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Vernon County Fair in Nevada, Missouri. In Consumer Watch, Republicans are looking to expand benefits for millions of independent contractors working across the U.S. It's part of a push to modernize the so-called gig economy. Fox correspondent Grady Trimble has the details.
Republican senators are introducing a set of bills that would let companies like Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash offer their gig workers benefits without reclassifying them as employees. That means the roughly 27 million Americans who work as independent contractors like Uber drivers would be eligible for sick leave, health insurance, and retirement plans. But under these bills, they would still be considered independent contractors even while receiving these benefits. Senate Help Committee Chair Bill Cassidy introduced the legislation alongside Senators Rand Paul and Tim Scott. He says gig workers and companies are governed by century-old laws and argues the U.S. needs new laws for the new economy.
Right now, there is a legal perception that if the company contracting with the worker gives them benefits like a 401k, that it is a traditional employer-employee. We give a safe harbor for that business and effectively a safe harbor for the employee, allowing them to keep their freedom.
The National Employment Law Project, which advocates on behalf of gig workers, is speaking out against this legislation, saying, Senator Cassidy's bill would do nothing to make real benefits such as comprehensive health insurance and retirement plans more affordable for legitimate independent contractors. But the lawmakers proposing these bills say they expand benefits for workers in the gig economy. On Capitol Hill, Grady Trimble, Fox Business.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 7:42 now on this Wednesday morning. Again, starting with the fog tracker. Some reduced visibilities, Parsons, Nevada, Stockton, but dense fog still through parts of Jasper, Newton, McDonald, Barry, Lawrence, and Benton counties out there. Cassville still just a mile visibility. Bentonville's improved a bit to just over 3. So I-44, US 60 heading east towards Springfield, or I-49 heading south down into northwest Arkansas. Just be prepared for some slower traffic, reduced visibilities. Of course, you know the drill. Low beams, not your high beams, and fog lights if you've got them. For today, though, into the afternoon, pop-up storms are possible. It's a pretty low chance. But like yesterday, we saw that one storm that went severe. Pop-up storms occasionally can intensify, so we do have the risk for maybe some hail, possibly some damaging wind gusts, but mainly into the southeast Kansas side of things, as you can see right now. Pop-up storms on the future track. Remember, you got to take it all with a grain of salt. It does not always catch on to them very quickly, very easily. And the latest update you saw, they fizzled out a little closer to 4:30, which is a little more on track with what I'm thinking here. Is it's going to be a window from noon to 5 that we could see some pop-up storm chances out there. So just be prepared for that. Once we get past that, though, that is the wrong button. But once we get past that, we will actually start to have clear skies for the rest of the evening and overnight. Pretty decent night ahead of us, but on the mild side. And we'll start Thursday with clear skies. We do have the chances to see this is updated since even this morning when we got first started at 7. We've got some pop-up storm chances out there. They are very limited. And honestly, almost zero, but not quite zero. So do keep that in mind. We might get 1 or 2. Now, Friday, though, starts to change things up a bit. Initially, we start with the opportunity from afternoon for pop-up storms, and then we start to see slightly more organized thunderstorm activity by later into the evening and overnight hours. And some of those storms could also be strong to low-grade severe. So for today, we have that level 1 out of 5 risk. Tomorrow, believe it or not, we do have a low risk, just barely clipping us there. Our southwestern counties right now, no thunderstorm areas highlighted. And then we go back to Friday, and we have that level 1 out of 5 risk once again, primarily into southeast Kansas. Partly cloudy skies there from our camera at 7th and range line, and partly cloudy skies, even some mostly clear skies are expected through the morning. About 74 by 8, low 80s by 11 o'clock this morning. And into the afternoon, again, between noon and 5, still looking to be the best window for those pop-up storms. Highs about 90 outside of any storm chances. Winds are expected to be calm, so there's going to be a little stagnant, a little muggy. Heat index values into the mid-90s. It's going to feel a little uncomfortable out there. The air is going to feel a little stale almost with no wind moving it around. Once we get past that, though, clear skies through the evening. Again, still mild, near 80 by 10 o'clock tonight. Overnight lows into the low 70s with south winds at about 5 to 10 after midnight. Another south breeze 5 to 10 tomorrow. Again, maybe a storm or 2. Otherwise, heating up. Low to mid-90s tomorrow and Friday. Again, Friday, initially pop-up storm chances. Then later in the day, into the evening and overnight, we see more scattered thunderstorms. So just a little more widespread coverage than pop-up storms. And that will continue through at least Monday. Thanks to the clouds and the storm chances, our temperatures as we head into this weekend drop back below normal. And again, for July, it's hot out there. Don't get me wrong. I've definitely noticed it's hot, but it really hasn't been as bad as we have seen in the past at this time in July. So not bad next week either. Some additional pop-up showers or storms next Wednesday, Thursday. Temperatures upper 80s and low 90s. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
A Virginia ballet teacher has been teaching for more than 60 years.
And the 82-year-old continues to inspire new students to try the art form, which she compares to poetry. Rob Cardwell reports.
If you've ever been to a performance of The Nutcracker by the Richmond Ballet, you may have talked about the performance of the grandmother. Ask her, and she'd rather you didn't.
Watch that you don't roll over in your foot.
She wants you to talk about
Carry out on the second and you hold.
the people around her.
I do. I'm a teacher, so that's what I love to talk about. Pirouette to second.
Meet 82-year-old Susan Massey, tiny dancer,
Register. mighty teacher. Regita. I've been teaching over 60 years. I performed before that, and I was studying since 7. Pirouette and 2, fourth and a D and a straight.
Susan joined the faculty of the Richmond Ballet in 1992, but her career started after graduating from the University of Utah, receiving degrees in ballet and modern dance.
And up and a straight.
From that landlocked state
Pirouette to the fourth.
to training and performing in Russia, Denmark, Europe, and England, performing and then teaching.
And you're up.
For one reason.
Ballet is one of the most beautiful, it's like poetry. It's like fluid poetry. It's a beautiful form of expression.
And Susan has a knack for teaching, even to students who have no coordination whatsoever.
Take this one up to where you can still see it. That's good.
Oh, she's the best. She's such a gifted instructor.
Chris Colt will tell you Miss Massey taught him the joy of expressing himself.
So I actually started taking this the first time they offered this intro for adult ballet about 13 years ago. And I saw it advertised and thought, I'm about to turn 40. It would be really cool to do this thing.
Since then, he's been performing in the Nutcracker as well. Susan says her happiness comes from teaching adults about the joy of dance. These students are not the Richmond Ballet's professional company. They're members of the community who take classes recreationally to either learn ballet or tap back into something that they might have studied when they were younger. For fitness, for a hobby, for developing a love of ballet.
Ding, 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 little victories. There isn't a class that goes by every day I teach that I don't see somebody go, oh, yes.
Building a love of ballet.
Hey, 1, 2.
Is building better minds.
That's impressive.
Yes.
And she's still so spry for 82. Like,
I know.
she's playing the piano like it's nothing.
It's
she's
great
just
to
going.
see. And inspiring people of all ages to come and dance.
And it's
Great.
a reminder you can do anything
Yes.
as long as you put your mind to it.
Certainly can.
And we've got to put our minds to being careful out there, especially parts of Missouri and northwest Arkansas. We still have some dense fog across the area. So as we've told you 100 million times, and we'll tell you again, low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you've got them. And, of course, slow down. Give distance between you and the car ahead of you. Just watch out for rapidly changing visibility. So, again, I-44, US 60 heading east towards Springfield. I-49 heading south down into Arkansas. Just watch out. This is parts of Jasper, Newton, McDonald, Berry, Lawrence, and Benton counties out there. We do have some slightly reduced visibilities around Parsons as well as Nevada, Stockton, and even Iola right now. Into the afternoon, pop-up storms are a possibility. We could get some stronger ones with maybe some hail and gusty winds, similar to what we saw yesterday. We had that one storm that went severe. We've mentioned that before too. Occasionally, these pop-up storms can intensify a bit. All right, by noon, we start to see pop-up storm chances out there, and they'll continue through about 5. And then once we get past that, skies will clear out. Got a mild but decent evening and even a nice overnight ahead of us. We go into Thursday, maybe an isolated storm or two. Future Track's not really picking up on much simply because the expectation is pretty low for our Thursday. It's Friday afternoon. We'll see the return of pop-up storm chances out there initially, and then we're looking at scattered storms by late afternoon through the evening and overnight. And some of those could be strong, low-grade severe as well. So we have a level 1 out of 5 risk today. Same tomorrow, but as you can see, some of our southwestern counties don't even have a thunderstorm risk area highlighted at all. That's why not really expecting much. And we go back to a level 1 out of 5 risk for our Friday. As for this morning, partly cloudy skies, fog will burn off, mid-70s by 8, low 80s by 11 a.m. That's a quick check of your forecast. Got another full look at your forecast and your Wake Up recap right after this.
Well, this is your Wake Up recap for July 9th, your top stories to start the day. An early morning crash in Jasper County takes the life of Aiden Lambeth from Carthage. Troopers say the crash happened around 5 a.m. after a pickup failed to stop at a stop sign and traveled off the right side of the road, overturning and striking a tree. Carthage schools have activated their crisis response on Thursday from noon to 2 at the Carthage High School Media Center. They say counselors will also be available in the days ahead for anyone who may need someone to talk to. Pittsburgh commissioners voted in favor of a resolution that could lead to changes to the Silverback Landing housing development project. This resolution would allow the city to hold a public hearing to consider changes to the project, including an extension of the timeline. The public hearing to discuss the tax incentive extension is planned for August 12th. And that's a check of today's Wake Up recap.
And we've got a hot and muggy day. Temperatures about 90. Isolated pop-up storms between noon and 5 and a strong storm or two possible in southeast Kansas. Hail and wind, the primary concern there. Those will last through 5, as I mentioned, then we'll clear out. Mild by 10, still near 80, low 70s tonight. Maybe a stray storm tomorrow, but better chances. More pop-up storms Friday afternoon. More scattered storms, though, by Friday evening and overnight into the weekend. And the clouds and rain through the weekend keep our temperatures a bit below normal.
Right. Well, fair season is finally here, and the 68th annual Jasper County Youth Fair is in full swing. Yesterday morning, 4-H exhibitors showed off their livestock and all of their hard work at the Horse and Mule Show.
Now, through 4-H, the exhibitors learn how to feed, fit, and show their animals, all while developing lifelong skills. The fair runs all week, ending this Saturday. Of course, it is fair season, as we mentioned, and always a lot of great fairs, a lot of great things to do out there. As we mentioned too, Carver Day is this Saturday. Lots to do, but you want to make sure you stay hydrated as well, because it is still July. It's still a bit toasty.
It certainly is.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us this morning. We will be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.